In this video, we'll actually be talking about how to set up your website. So pretty much everything you need to do before you can actually start building your website. Actually, just a few things you need to take care of, such as getting a domain name, getting web hosting, and installing WordPress. So if you're not familiar with a domain name, well, domain name is pretty much the address that will lead to your website. So big examples are such as, like, if you want to go to Google, you just type in google.com and that's their domain name. Or if you want to go to Facebook, you just type in facebook.com. So your domain name could be pretty much anything, but it's better to have it more related to your business. So if you already have a business name, try to get a domain name that is yourbusiness.com. It could be .net or .org, just depends on what type of business you're in. Or if you want to do personal branding type of website, you can look for a domain name that is your name. For instance, for me, it'll be like hisham.com or .net or .org. So yeah, that's basically what domain names are. And I'll actually show you how to get a .com or .net, .org domain name for free with web hosting. So actually that leads to the second point when it comes to setting up your website. Second thing you need to take care of is getting web hosting. Web hosting is actually very important, especially if you want your website to be out on the internet and accessible anywhere in the world. So web hosting providers pretty much provide you a space in their server where you can like have all your files, your images, your videos, everything that belongs to your website will live there. And if somebody types in your domain name, it's going to point to that file on their server and your website is going to load on your visitor's browser. So web hosting is very important, and I'll actually show you the best and the most recommended web hosting provider for me personally, at least. I've actually gone through quite a few different web hosting providers, and there's one that I particularly like the most. So after we set up web hosting, the third thing we're going to need to do is install WordPress. WordPress is one of the most popular ways to build a website. It's actually one of the easiest ways and also the most flexible ways to build a website. With WordPress, you don't really need to know anything about writing code or programming or anything like that. All you need to do is just type in the content of your website, and then you can drag and drop different things. We'll get into all of that in the next video. So you know what? Let's just go ahead and start setting it up. So the first thing I want you to do is go to Fast Comment. You can either type in fastcomment.com or click on the link under this video. The link is actually an affiliate link, so if you buy through that link, I'll get a small commission. So I appreciate that. So Fast Comment, the reason why I really like Fast Comment is, as I mentioned earlier, you get a free domain name forever, which is $15. Like anywhere else, if you want to buy a domain name, it's at least $15 a year. You might get a deal like, hey, get this free domain name, but it's usually a domain name. You get that domain name just for 1 year, and after that, for every year after that, you have to pay $15. So with Fast Comment, you will get it for free forever as long as you keep your web hosting account. And another thing I really like about it is it's actually very fast. Like websites hosted with Fast Comment are really fast because they have all of this technology. We can get into it, but basically SSD only cloud. So the hard disks that they use in their servers are not the old school hard disks that have a disk that's spinning. So these SSD, they just work a lot faster than the old school hard disks. They also have like free Cloudflare CDN. This is actually very neat, and a lot of other providers charge for this. So what this service pretty much does is it copies your website and it duplicates it in a bunch of different data centers across the world. So if somebody, let's say for instance, I'm here in the US, and if I visit your website, it's gonna try to lead me to the data center or the server that's closest to me. For instance, if somebody else is in Asia or whatnot, if they're trying to access your website in the US, it might take longer since the distance between the two places is a lot longer. But if they have a server in Asia, it's just going to point them to the closest server to them, and that will make a significant difference. That will make your website load a lot faster. So they actually have data centers across the world, and wherever your website visitor is coming from, it's just going to point them to the closest one. So that's another really neat thing. Apart from that, they do like free daily backups, and this is actually a service that a lot of other providers charge. They charge like at least $3, $4, $5 a month, but here you get it for free. That's why I really like it. And what's even better than everything else is they have like a free 24/7 support. And I really like their support because you can just easily just click on chat now and just enter your information. And if you get stuck with any question whatsoever, they're very, very fast and very helpful. I've used them quite a few times myself and haven't been disappointed. It's very important to have good support. So for instance, for whatever reason your website is like not working or something like that, and if you do not have somebody to call, your website can be down for a couple of days until somebody gets back to you. But with them, immediately just go to the live chat, and there you have it. And the last thing I want to talk about is their fixed prices. They don't have like sneaky prices like other companies. If they tell you like, hey, this is our price per month, and when it comes time to renew it, because you usually have to have like a contract period of let's say a year, or you can even do month by month. But if you want to get the cheapest, you either go with a year, 2 years, or even 3 years. So after that, let's say year period, let's say you're paying a certain amount, after that they won't jack up the price. You're gonna pay the same price. And that's actually very awesome, because a lot of different providers, that's how they make their money. They give you like a really low price up front just to get you in the door. And then after that, because they know it's very hard to change web hosting providers every time, especially once your website is starting to get visitors and whatnot. So they take advantage of that. So they like, once it comes time to renew, they're like, okay, we're just gonna double, triple the price, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? Unless you want to switch over and deal with all of that hassle. But for them, they're like, hey, this is the price you're gonna pay the first time, and whenever it comes time to renew, it's gonna remain the same price. So anyway, enough talking about all of that. I just really like Fast Comment, and I hope you go through with them as well. And this one I'm going to be using in this tutorial as well. Just click under the link, click on the link under this video, and it'll take you here to Fast Comment. So now here we see they have three main packages. They have Start Smart, which is basically if you just plan to build one website, I'll recommend just go with that, because it has all the perks of the other ones, except for, the other packages are meant for people who are building multiple websites. For instance, me, I have quite a few websites, so if it was up to me, I would go with either the Scale Right or the Speed Up. They just come with a little bit more perks and a little bit faster, but the Start Smart is really good, especially if you're just getting started and you only have one website you want to build. But another really neat thing is if your needs change, let's say you have an idea for another website or another of your businesses or whatnot, you can easily just contact support, and you can upgrade to like another one. It's pretty easy. So anyway, let's just go ahead and start with this one. So click on Get Started, and here's where you choose a domain name you want, and this is the domain name that you're going to be getting for free. So for a domain name, as we talked about earlier, that's what the visitors are going to be typing on their browser in order to get to your website. So just make it as easy as possible for somebody to remember, as easy as possible for somebody to spell or even pronounce. Those are like the best practices when it comes to choosing a domain name. Don't choose something that's super hard if you want to like tell somebody like, hey, go to my website, and every time you tell somebody you have to like spell it out for them. Just make it as easy as possible for them to remember, and just type it out. And also just make sure to not use any trademarked names. Or so for instance, your website is dealing with, I don't know, Walt Disney stuff, just do not include the word Walt Disney in your domain name, because that's a trademarked brand and you can't just use somebody else's brand. Just make it something that's not trademarked, something that's easy to pronounce, easy to remember. So for me, I'm creating a website for another one of my websites called WP like Created, and here you can choose whether you want .com, .net, .org, and all this other fun stuff. I'll just stick to .com, and once you click on use domain name, it will check if that domain name is available. It'll check if that domain name is available, because there's only one person who can have a specific domain name. Otherwise, if multiple people have the same domain name, like how would you know where that domain name will take you to? So yeah, it's gonna be locked just like a phone number. Only one person can have a specific phone number. So this one, it shows that it's available, but I did a lot of research before choosing this domain name. That's why I knew that it's going to be available. But most of the times, whenever the first idea I come up with, it's like most of the time the .com, at least the .com domain name is taken. So let's say the first idea I had was like, instead of WP Created, it was WP Create, and I clicked on that .com, and yep, here it shows you. Oops, yeah, that domain name is already taken by somebody else. So you can either go ahead and choose like a different like domain name extension, such as .biz, .us, .org, and all that stuff, or you can just type in something else right here. So just tweak it a little bit. Just add maybe one more word, or just add something that will help you kind of like create a unique domain name. So for me, Created is available. I'll just go ahead and choose that. This comes to the time where we actually create our account in Fast Comment, and it just requires a few information so that they can use to create your account. So for me, I'll just enter all my personal information, like so after that, here's the important part when it comes to choosing your billing cycle. They have quite a few options based on your budget and your needs, but typically the longer the billing cycle, the cheaper it's going to be. So for me personally, I would recommend going with the longer billing cycle. So for instance, if you want to go with per month, month to month, it costs like $5.95, but they also have a $20 setup fee, just like a one-time setup fee. And after that, you're gonna be paying pretty much like $6 per month. But the longer the billing cycle, for instance, if you go to like the 12-month billing cycle, you do not have that setup fee, and you pay less. You pay $4.95 cents per month, and the setup fee is waived. It's free. Then if you go to like 24 months, it's even cheaper, and 36 month, the cheapest. So for 36 months, it takes it down to like $100, $106, and if you divide that by 3 years, you're pretty much paying like 30 something dollars a year, which it's a really good deal. But it's really up to you. For me right now, I'll just go ahead and choose a 36-month one. And another really good thing about Fast Comment is, if for whatever reason you decide to like cancel your account, it's very easy. Within 45 days, you'll get a full 100% money back, which is a no-brainer. And what really surprised me is they give you 100% back. Usually when it comes to most of these hosting providers, they will at least keep certain amount, especially the hosting providers that give you a free domain name, because the domain name, they actually pay for it, and they will not reimburse that. So for instance, with other companies, if you want a refund, they'll refund you everything except for like $15 that they use for the domain name. But these guys are like, nah, if you want within 45 days, we'll give you everything back. And that domain name, don't worry about it, we'll pay for it. So it's amazing. It's crazy. I don't know how they do it. And I really wish I knew about them earlier. But anyway, so once you choose that, they have uh, quite a few add-ons. The only thing that I see that might be valuable is the domain name privacy protection, and this one is pretty much does not expose your personal information to everybody. Uh, so, for instance, when you buy a domain name, they take your information, your contact information, and then supply it to the people who are actually responsible with issuing the new domain names and whatnot. And then once the domain name is registered to you, and if you do not have domain name privacy, whoever wants to look up, like, say, okay, who owns facebook.com or who owns google.com, you can easily go just search for who is service, and then type in whichever domain name, and you will see all of that information. You see somebody's name, somebody's email address, phone number, address, and all of that stuff. So if you do not want that, I would recommend choosing the domain name privacy protection. It just makes life easier, and you will not get a lot of spam and a lot of junk calls and junk email and whatnot. So domain name privacy is a good deal. I'll just click on add to cart. Yeah, that just adds like an extra like $10, which is not bad. But this is extra $10 a year, so it brings it down to less than $1 a month, which is a pretty good deal. I wouldn't personally wouldn't choose any one of these extra add-ons. I'll just either get the domain name privacy if that's important to you, but it's optional. And then another thing is when it comes to the configuration options, here is where you choose the data center, which is like closest to where most of your website visitors are going to be coming from. So if you have a website that's most of the traffic is targeted to like the US people, I recommend choosing any one of these data centers that's closest to them. Or if most of your visitors are going to be coming from Europe or Asia, just choose whichever one is that. But for me, I'll just leave it to Dallas. And then after that, all you got to do is just enter your payment information. So you can either do credit card or PayPal. It's really up to you. For me personally, I just choose credit card, and then I'll just go ahead and enter my information, and then click on create account. So let me go ahead and enter my credit card information. I just have to blur it out and then come back. All right, so yeah, it just processed my payment and it brought me right here to the confirmation page. So it seems like it has an order number, but I don't think we need it. It'll probably send me an email as well. So I'll just click here to go to your client area, and voila, here is our dashboard. It's just telling you all this information. If you want to get like a walkthrough of all the different features, you can go ahead and click on walk me. So for me, I'll just go ahead and click on create a new website, and it's going to ask you, okay, what type of website do you want to create. It actually supports a lot of different ones, but I'll choose WordPress as that's the platform that I recommend the most. So click on WordPress and click on go. So this right here is what is called the C panel. The C panel is where we're gonna do most of our configurations for our website, and we're even gonna come here to install WordPress. It's actually very good to make yourself familiar with the different options that they have here on the C panel. For instance, like the file manager, that's pretty good, but it's more an advanced topic. For now, the first thing we need to do is we can go in and set up email accounts. So now that you have a domain name, for instance, right now we have the domain name called wpcreated.com. So I can create a professional email address, for instance, like info at wpcreated.com, or like my name, Hisham, at wpcreated.com, hello, or whatever. So you just gotta click on email accounts within the C panel, and then just generate a password, or you can enter password and then click on create. Oh, actually I need to copy that password and paste it here, and then click on create an account, and there we have it. We have a professional email address. Now I can tell people like, hey, if you want to email me, just go to info@wpcreated.com, and I'll get the email accounts. I'll get the emails, and if you want to like actually check the emails, you can come here and click on access webmail, or you can even like set it up in your normal Outlook or Gmail or something like that, so that you can get your emails where you normally check your emails. So I'll click on they have multiple different options. I just like the round cube, and I click on that, and here you have it. It actually sends you an email on how to configure so that you can get your emails on your phone or on your normal email clients. So let's go back to the cPanel. Let's just click right here. That's how you set up professional emails. Another thing we need to set up before installing WordPress is scroll down to security, and here we see let's encrypt SSL. Remember I told you that you get like a free SSL certificate, and pretty much what it does, it allows you to have HTTPS in front of your domain name instead of HTTP. HTTPS is a lot more secure, and when somebody enters their personal information, nobody can hack and actually get to see all that personal information. And you'll also see this green lock icon right here. Without that, it will show that it's not secure and whatnot. So we need to set that up before installing WordPress. It's very easy. Just click on Let's Encrypt SSL, and that should take us right here. All we need to do is just down here under Issue a New Certificate, under Actions, just click on Issue, the plus button. Then we can just leave all the default options, and in the bottom we have an Issue button. Let's click on that button, and there you have it. Let's just go back to the cPanel. Let's go back, and we already set it up. It's very easy. So lastly, now all we need to do is install WordPress. So just keep on scrolling down all the way till you see like the Softaculous app installer, and under scripts you'll see WordPress. So just click on the WordPress icon, and it will take you right here. So this is going to install WordPress onto your server so that we can actually start building our website. So the first thing I want you to do is click on Install Now, and it will just ask you for a few information. And the first thing it's asking you for is choose protocol. So it's saying like if your site has SSL, then choose HTTPS. And that's the reason to why we had to set up the SSL certificate before coming here, so that we can just click on that, and underneath you can either choose HTTPS and then without the www, or you can choose with the www. I like without the www, so it's easier to just tell somebody my domain name instead of saying, hey, go to www.wpcreated.com. I can just say like go to wpcreated.com, and they should find it. And another thing is what's very, very important is here in directory. Make sure to delete that and leave it empty, because if you don't delete it and you actually we leave the default, which is WP here, it's going to be weird because you'll have to type in your domain name. For instance, here it's going to be wpcreated.com, but that will not take you to your homepage. You need to do wpcreated.com/WP, and then it will show you domain name. Yeah, I don't know why they don't have it blank as the default, but yes, be sure to delete that. So yeah, just to summarize, choose HTTPS and then your domain name, just leave it alone, and yeah, delete the directory. So once we get to site settings, here it'll ask you for your site name. You can always change this later, so let's just put something. For me, I'll just put like WP, can't even type, created, WP created, and then a small description. I'll be WordPress resource for you, or something like that. I can change it later. And then down here, this is actually very important, the admin account. So here you're going to create a username and password so that you can log into WordPress and actually customize WordPress to build your specific website and change the themes and add content. So this is something that's very important. It's actually recommended to not leave the username as admin because, you know, a lot of people do that and hackers know that, so they can easily try to like get access to your WordPress account by, you know, just choosing admin and then just guessing your password. So just to make life a little bit more difficult for them, switch this instead of admin. Just choose something like, you know, admin guy or admin gal or something that's a little bit different compared to admin. Is recommended. And then under password, it's good to like click on generate password because they'll give you like a very strong password. So it's going to be hard for hackers to guess that. But the thing about this username and password is you have to like save it somewhere so that you don't lose it. And every time you need to access and change or add content to your website, you need to know this username and password. So I recommend making sure that you copy it and then go to like a notepad or somewhere, or you can even write it down on a piece of paper, just so that you have it somewhere secure, and next time you want to log in you can have something to refer back to. So I'll just save that, like username, and then I'll paste my thing, and then password. Let's go back and copy the password. All right, there we have it. And just to make sure, if you have multiple websites, it's good to, you know, have like the website that this thing is related to. So that, just so that you don't confuse your username and passwords. So that's good. And then admin email, we can leave it like that. And then actually right here under select plugins, they have a plugin called limit login attempts. This is very important. It makes sure that, you know, you can only like try logging in only 3 times, because what hackers do is they just like have like some script that like constantly tries different usernames and different passwords until it gets the right one. But if you choose this plugin, it will make sure that, you know, maximum of, I think it's 3 or 5 times, and then that's it. So hackers will not be able to run that script. Okay, so after that, we can just check out the advanced options. We can this is actually something that that's very helpful under auto upgrade. This will make sure that whenever like there's an upgrade for WordPress, it will automatically take that upgrade and install it. This is very, very useful because otherwise you'll have to do that manually, and we don't want to do that. So we're just gonna click on check for auto upgrade, and we're gonna click on the checkbox for auto upgrade WordPress plugins. That's really helpful as well. And we're also gonna click on the checkbox for auto upgrade WordPress themes. The most important one is auto upgrade, the first option. The other ones you could or could not choose them. It's really up to you, but I recommend selecting all of them. And yeah, make sure you do, otherwise next time WordPress comes up with a new version, you'll have to do it manually, and this just makes life easier. So let's scroll down, and then they have an option to select a theme. Let's skip this because we're gonna do it later in the next video. And just to make you know, life easy so that you don't forget your username and forget all of these details which we just selected here, enter your email address so that they can send you a copy of all of this, and next time if you want to log in you can just refer to that and you'll get your information. So I'll just use the email I just created. You can use any email address that you use often. So info@wpcreated.com, and then I'll just click on install. And this is installing WordPress, and once WordPress is installed we can actually start building our website. And it's actually very quick. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer, but here we see congratulations, you know, WordPress was successfully installed. And now what we got to do is log into WordPress so that we can actually start customizing WordPress and, you know, adding our content to our website. So right here you see they have, okay, right here, administrative URL. which is usually like your domain name and then /wp-admin. That's the URL you'll need to, type into your browser, or you can just like right click and open a new tab, and that should take you to the place where you can log in. All right, yeah, so here's where we can log into WordPress. All you have to do is enter the same username and password that we created earlier, and you can either refer back to where you stored your username and password, and then just copy it and paste it. And then I'll just copy my password right here and then paste it right there. And you can choose remember me if you use that the laptop or computer often, so that next time you don't have to log in. But yeah, let's click on login, and that should take us to the WordPress dashboard. And here's where all the magic will happen. Here's where we're going to create the pages, web pages on our website. If we're creating a blog, here's where we're going to create all the blog posts. Here's where we're going to configure our online store and everything. So the whole point of this video was to get us to this point right here, where we have a WordPress installation that we can use and start customizing and whatnot. Actually, if you want to check out how the default website is, you can just go up top and then you see visit site, and you can click on that, and it actually created a website for us. It's just kind of like a dummy website. We just need to go in and change how it looks and change everything and customize it to our liking. But as you can see, the website name we chose WP created, and the tagline WordPress resource for you. We'll go in and customize all of that in the next video. So yeah, congratulations, you successfully created a website. You have a domain name, you have WordPress hosting, and you even installed WordPress. That is quite an accomplishment. And in the next video, we're gonna go in and talk more about WordPress, about the dashboard and everything. So yeah, see you in the next video.